West Bloomfield, Michigan. Thinking about making West Bloomfield, Michigan your home? Well, I'm gonna tell you all the reasons you shouldn't, and I'm gonna also tell you all the reasons you should. Sound good? Great, because we're starting now. If you're new here and new to me, my name is Paul and I make videos about all sorts of cities and areas all over Metro Detroit, Michigan. So if you like what you see, consider subscribing because there's a good chance I'm going to cover some of the areas that you're interested in or maybe will be interested in. And if you want to move to any of these areas, reach out because I am a full-time real estate agent and I've helped hundreds of people buy and sell homes all over Metro Detroit, Michigan. And one of my offices is actually in West Bloomfield. So, hey, you know, if you're moving there or want to sell from there, I'm your guy. I'm your guy. All right, so pro number one about West Bloomfield, Michigan is all of the lakes. West Bloomfield has a lot of lakes, like a ton of lakes.
Yeah, it's like the land of 1,000 lakes.
It actually has more lakes than any other community in Wayne and Oakland County. So if you're looking for a lake, this is your spot. Approximately 12% of the entire township of West Bloomfield is water. 12%. That doesn't seem like a huge number, but 12%, that is a big number. Some people actually refer to West Bloomfield as the Lake Township of Oakland County. It makes sense. They have 24 lakes there that cover 1,858 acres. 12% makes up all of that. They've got all sports lakes, they've got non-motorized lakes, and they have a bunch of like small ponds that they call lakes, but they're not really, I mean, like, I wouldn't call it a lake, but you know, if you had it in your backyard, you'd be like, that is a lake. There's actually 7 large all sports lakes in West Bloomfield. You've got Cass Lake, Middle Straits Lake, Orchard Lake, Pine Lake, Union Lake, Upper Straits Lake, and Walnut Lake. If you're wondering what an all sports lake is, it's basically a lake where you could like take anything out there. Jet skis, power boats, whatever you want, have fun, go tubing. People still tube. I remember like when I was younger, I never wanted to ski, but I was like, yeah, I'll go tubing. So a lot of the other cities around West Bloomfield have smaller non-motorized lakes. Non-motorized lake, it doesn't make any sense. Smaller lakes that don't allow motorized craft. That makes more sense. Imagine a motorized lake. It's a lake and it just moves around because it's motorized. So if you're looking for a home in Michigan on a lake that's not far away from everything, West Bloomfield, it's your spot. If you can afford it. We'll talk about all that in a minute. The next pro that also could be a con would be there's no drive-through restaurants. They're actually not allowed. They're illegal. You cannot have a drive-through restaurant in West Bloomfield. Sounds crazy, right? I don't know of any other community anywhere that has a rule like that. So you want a Chick-fil-A? No. You want a McDonald's? No. Burger King? No. I think you get the point. No drive-thrus. At first I was thinking about this as like a con, and then the more I thought about it, I kind of like it. I think that it's a pro. Recently, they tried to put in a Burger King next to a neighborhood in Farmington. Burger King! And it was shot down by the city.
Burger King? No.
Nobody wants a Burger King next to your house. It was a bank, and then they were like, we're gonna take this bank and we're gonna turn it into a Burger King. That's a fantastic idea. People were cool with the bank, not cool with Burger King. So if you wanna live next to a Burger King, West Bloomfield's not your spot. The next positive or pro on my list of West Bloomfield would have to be the schools, or actually like the wide variety of schools in West Bloomfield. West Bloomfield has a bunch of schools. You've got the West Bloomfield School District, the Waterfront School District, the Farmington Public School District, Birmingham District, Pontiac School District, the Walled Lake School District, and the Bloomfield Hills School District. And it all depends on where you live in West Bloomfield. And if you need help figuring that out, ask your agent or ask me because that's literally my job. And it's really important to point out that West Bloomfield, not all of West Bloomfield goes to West Bloomfield schools. I think that that's a popular misconception. People automatically think that if they move to city X, that they will go to that city's school district, and that is not always the case. A lot of times it's all busted up, broken down, shifted, and shuffled around. So the actual West Bloomfield School District serves West Bloomfield, all of Keego Harbor, Michigan, and about 99% of Orchard Lake Village, and about 10% of Sylvan Lake. So West Bloomfield School District, great school district, but it serves sort of a bunch of different areas too. Speaking of those school districts, depending on what school district you are in, and this is true for any city that you live in, your taxes will change depending on what school district you're in. So if you see a house and you like a house, you have to pay attention to the city, the county, and the school district. Those are three things Three things that you're going to have to pay attention to figure out what you will pay in taxes. All right, so now for the negatives about West Bloomfield, the cons. Con number one has to be the location. It's not really that far out from everything else, but nothing is just a clear shot or down the street because of all of the lakes. You've got to drive around a bunch of lakes to really get anywhere. So if you're heading anywhere in West Bloomfield, there's a good chance you're going to be doing a whole lot of this to get anywhere. It's not just like this. Now, if you look at some of the areas like Canton or South Lyon, places like that, where they were primarily farmland, where they're just flat, you just get on a road and you go. Where in West Bloomfield, you've got a whole mess of things to get through. Now, officially, they say that the average commute time in West Bloomfield is about 28 minutes, and the average commute time for the United States is about 26 minutes. But that really depends on where you live exactly and where you have to go. If you're gonna head from West Bloomfield to Detroit, so if you have to drive from one to the other, you're looking at about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the time of day, traffic, and where you live around any one of those lakes. And if you're heading to the airport, so if you're heading from West Bloomfield down to DTW Airport, you're gonna be looking at about 35 to 50 minutes. And again, it depends on the time of day and where you live. It's not a city where it's really easy to pinpoint unless you give me an address. You give me an address and I'll hook you up. I'll tell you exactly how long it's gonna take. Con number two is the housing market. If you're looking for a $150,000, $200,000 deal of a house, this is probably not the city for you. The average home cost in West Bloomfield is $318,000. So that's average for the entire city. Home prices over the past 10 years have gone up by about 7%, and they just keep climbing. I mean, anytime you have homes that are near a lake, on a lake, have lake access, they're not making any more lakes. I say that they're not making any more lakes, but I feel like people make man-made lakes all the time. But they're not making any more natural lakes. I don't think that's really a thing, is it? I don't know. I'm not a land scientist.
A what?
I don't know that stuff. I'm a real estate guy. Land scientist. I don't think land scientist is even a thing.
Yeah, no.
Geologist? Maybe geologist. They're not making any more land. I know that for sure. I don't know about the lakes, but I know they are not making any more land. Here we are, we just landed on Mars, so I guess we're finding land. So the average home in Michigan will run you about $151,000. That's average in Michigan. And the US average is $231,000. So again, this is not a super affordable place to live. Another note about the housing market in West Bloomfield is it's a lot of older subdivisions. So you have a lot of older construction, so 70s, 80s construction. You don't have a ton of new developments going in West Bloomfield. You have some newer lake homes, but those will cost a pretty penny. There are a lot of luxury lake homes. So if you're looking for a luxury lake home, West Bloomfield. Over the past year, 23 homes have sold in West Bloomfield, well north of $1 million. The highest one was 2.3 million, and guess what? It was on a lake. Of course it was on a lake. Most of those $1 million places were on lakes. I think if I was spending $1 million, I'd probably just be on a lake. Because again, I've talked about it in other videos, pools are probably not the best investment for Michigan, so lakes are where it's at, because you don't have to take care of a lake. It just sort of like does its own lakey business, it takes care of itself. And you can put a boat on it. You can't put a boat in your pool unless it's a really big pool. I guess if you're a millionaire, you can probably afford a home with a pool that's large enough for a boat. Next con on our list is the high cost of living in West Bloomfield, Michigan. A lot of that has to do with the home prices. I mean, we already discussed, it's more expensive than a lot of other places in Michigan, but the cost on average is about 16.5% higher than the US average. So it's not a cheap place to live. The other things that go into that whole mix are things like transportation. We already talked about that. It takes a while to get anywhere in West Bloomfield. Gas prices, grocery prices, and you have to remember, you can't just go to McDonald's or Burger King and buy something off the dollar menu because that doesn't exist. It's not a thing. Nothing's really close or easy to get to, so it costs a little bit more to live in. But if you're looking for a lake house and you don't want to move all the way up to northern Michigan or somewhere really far away, West Bloomfield might be the perfect place for you. But if you're still not sold on West Bloomfield and you're looking at some other cities and areas to live in, check out some of these other videos and playlists around here, and I'll try to help you find another place to live, and we'll see you there.